This is KGW News at Sunrise.
We're really stoked, so it's a 2-hour late opening. But I don't care.
That parent relieved, though, as Portland Public School students head back to the classroom later this morning after an almost month-long teacher strike. Coming up, we're breaking down the details of the tentative agreement between the district and teachers union.
All right, let's be honest this morning. It was not a great weekend to be a Beavers fan. They suffered 2 big losses. The first one came on Friday when they lost to the Ducks on the football field, and then they lost their head coach. We'll have more on Jonathan Smith's move to Michigan State coming up here in just a few minutes. Plus,
I mean, it's definitely more relaxed than I was expecting.
Yeah, that woman talking about traveling through PDX over the holiday weekend. Coming up at 5:15, we're catching up with travelers as they got through the airport.
we all had different lengths of weekends. I think Rod and I had the 3-day weekend. Yeah. Christine and Chris had the 2-day weekend. Bottom line is, none of them were long enough.
You're right, never.
We are back at it here on a Monday morning, so Chris will have traffic in a segment. Rod, what's up with the weather?
By the way, and kudos to PDX. We did multiple stories on them handling traffic, but the big winner over the weekend was the weather. There were no significant weather events anywhere across the country. Yeah. And that definitely helps when you're jumping on an airplane. This is pretty, right? We have full moon up top in the sky shining down over Cannon Beach this morning. So yeah, it's clear. And the moon is so bright, the full moon, they can already see the clear sky, blue sky a little bit up top this morning. So really a pretty but cold start. If you're away from the gorge, you likely have light winds and temperatures that are not only freezing, but down to the 20s. There's 27 Sherwood, 26 in Hillsboro. Now, the winds are gusting out on the east side, and that's why you see temperatures above freezing. Troutdale, you've been around 40, 43 the last couple mornings. 26 in Kaiser and Salem. Again, frosty conditions, 25 down in Corvallis. So today, just like what we had over the weekend, the same cold start. Areas of heavy frost out there, 47 at noon. I think we'll get up to around 50 again for a high and be 46 at 5 p.m. Here is Chris McGinnis.
What a beautiful day. Chilly, though, for sure. It takes some time to defrost your car. All right, south end of the Markham Bridge. You're over on the west side here. This is I-5 northbound. We do have a disabled semi on the right side of that, so traffic getting a little pinch there. Obviously, volume still really light this morning, so we're getting around it okay, but it's been there a while, so we'll keep you posted on that. West side traffic, Highway 26 out near 217, rolling right along there. No major issues on the freeways to start our Monday morning commute, guys.
Thank you, Chris.
We had to end this because it's hurting these kids that have already, I feel like, suffered way too much.
That Portland parent talking about the teachers' strike ending. Now Portland Public School students are set to go back to school this morning, just with a 2-hour late start. This is going to be the first time students will be back in the classroom since Halloween.
That is crazy to think about, right? KGW's Ashley Grams has more on today's top story after speaking to some very relieved parents.
What do we want? Safe schools! After nearly a month on the picket lines, it's no longer the Portland Association of Teachers who are shouting.
So I was like, school's back tomorrow, and they were both like, yay! Like, very, very excited.
Portland Public School students are going back to school.
We're excited. We're excited to see the teachers. We're excited to be back in the classrooms.
Who are we? PAT! Both the district and the union announced Sunday night they reached a tentative agreement.
This right now is a historic win for our students, our families, and our educators.
The contract ends long-standing disputes over wage increases, planning time, and class sizes.
If they didn't go back yet, it would have been another really rough week. I'm very, very, very thankful that they came up with an agreement.
The strike started November 1st, and students missed 11 days of instruction. Now families will once again readjust to life on a set schedule.
My kindergartner had just started at a brand new school, and she's going to basically have to readjust to that whole thing all over again. So I think we all wish it could have happened much faster.
Anna Campbell has 2 elementary school students, and she's hopeful that the new agreement will improve her children's education.
I think that if our kids get a better education and if our teachers are able to better provide what is needed in the classroom, then of course it's worth it. Was the impact of 3 weeks off of school easy on our children? No.
Other parents like Jasmine Reese say they hope this strike is a wake-up call, and Oregonians demand more state funding for public schools.
Parents need to come together, the general public, voters need to come together and be very strategic about changing the funding system here in Oregon.
Ashley Grams, KGW News.
So while teachers have been on strike for nearly a month now, negotiations have been going on for almost a year, and teachers are saying this new contract improves on all the big issues. Devin Haskins is here now to break down this contract. Devin, you're outside Lincoln High School early this morning, and pay, class sizes were two of the bigger sticking points.
Yeah, and teachers union calling everything they got in this contract a win on all fronts, and improvement on all those core issues like you said. So here's how it all breaks down. Teachers are getting a raise. They're getting a 13.75% wage increase over the next 3 years. The largest of that coming in year one. Teachers originally wanted a 20% wage increase. The district was offering closer to 10% again over those 3 years. Another big sticking point in negotiations was class size. PPS says the deal creates some new class size thresholds. While there isn't a hard cap on class sizes like teachers had originally wanted, this contract does create a class size committee, which includes parents and teachers, that would discuss ways to improve classrooms if the capacity increases. And finally, teacher prep time. The deal will also add another 90 minutes of prep time a week for teachers. Now those teachers will have at minimum close to 7 hours of prep time each week. Planning and grading days will also be added for all teachers. And throughout negotiations, the district has said everything the union wants would be too expensive. And they say the agreement will cost $175 million over the next 3 years. So what's next? Well, teachers will talk about the new contract, the tentative agreement, later on today, where they can ask questions to union leaders. Then they will hold a vote tomorrow. If they ratify it, in order to ratify it, I should say, they need a 50% plus one vote to do so. Back to you.
All right, Devin Haskins live for us this morning. We'll have more from Devin coming up a little bit later. But right now, we want to talk about those days missed. 11 days were missed altogether because of the strike. So here's how those days will be made up in the classroom. It starts by cutting into next month's winter break. Students will now be in school the week of December 18th through the 22nd. Those were originally 5 days off on the Portland Public School calendar. The other 6 days will be made up over the course of the rest of the school year, with an extra day in January, February, and April, and 3 days tacked on to the end of the school year in June. The last day of school for Portland students is now June 14th.
Well, Portland police need your help finding whoever stole a statue from a Southwest Portland cemetery. Staff at the historic Riverview Cemetery on Taylor's Ferry Road say the Spanish War Monument soldier disappeared over the Thanksgiving holiday. The 5-foot-tall bronze statue has been at the cemetery for more than 120 years. Here's the cemetery's executive director.
It's heartbreaking to see so little value placed on something that is placed purely to memorialize people who gave their lives, particularly our veterans. I know that's a population that Portland feels very strongly about, and I do as well. So it's very disappointing.
If you have any information on where that statue might be, call the Riverview Cemetery.
After 6 seasons leading the Beavers on the sideline, head football coach Jonathan Smith is leaving Corvallis to become the head coach at Michigan State. That news came less than 24 hours after the Beavers lost to the Ducks 31-7 in Eugene on Friday night. Smith was named head coach at Oregon State prior to the 2018 season. He also played quarterback for the Beavers about 20 years ago. Did a great job at that, was fantastic on the sidelines, but now he's moving on to the Spartans. Kefense Hinson has been named the interim head coach. He was previously Oregon State's wide receivers coach and passing game coordinator. So again, big news for the Beavers, big bad news. I feel like Jonathan Smith is like everything the Beavers are, right? I mean, this guy was undersized, kind of an underdog, outplayed his potential as a quarterback in college.
Wasn't he on the team and went to the Fiesta?
Yes.
I think that's correct.
Dennis Smith was the head coach. Riley took him there.
Dennis
Erickson, yeah. But then Erickson took over. Anyways, yes, great story as a player, then a coach, and now he's moving on. It's kind of sad because the Beavers don't even know who they're going to play next year for starters. Yeah. And now they don't know who their long-term head coach will be.
I can't believe they've been there 6 years. When you said that, I was counting. Is it really 6 years? But yeah, 6 years.
Well, they were like not good, got better, very good, and good again.
And then now this. Yeah.
Well, good morning, Beaver Nation. Here's a look at the entire country. And I mentioned this earlier in the show, but we were blessed over the holiday weekend with an absence of any significant weather front that produced delays in air travel. And that's still the case out there for folks maybe not coming home until today. Certainly all dry up and down the West Coast, California, Nevada, Idaho, Oregon, Washington. We're all dry. You see the clouds arcing out here in the Pacific. This basically, if you were looking at a weather map and you put the big area of high pressure on top of us and you trace the outline of the high, that's what the clouds are doing. They're kind of tracing the outline of the high. So we're all dry today. This, by the way, spinning is a low that will eventually go down into California. Very little change in our weather today. We have the cold, frosty conditions. We have the east winds blowing out of the gorge, keeping areas there frost free. And we do have a fog advisory, a freezing fog advisory. Here's the Dow, so it's not you folks, but it's off to the east, parts of the basin into Pendleton, up into Washington. Again, freezing fog can be surprisingly slick and dangerous on surfaces. Now, our Futurecast model clears all of that out during the day, which might be a little overly optimistic. We'll see. There have been some fog reports down around Eugene this morning as well. That is expected to clear. And the prettiest camera of the morning is this one. That's a full moon right up here illuminating the Pacific waters in Cannon Beach where it's 40 degrees. Another overall really pretty day. The cold conditions this morning, Eugene 24, Salem 26. Night after night, we've seen parts of the valley dip to 23, 24 degrees. And we're right down there again this morning. It's near freezing up in Astoria. It's 30 out in the Dalles. It's now 7 out in Burns. So the clear skies allowing the really cold nights. But we get back up to about 50 during the day again in Salem. Light winds here, northeast 5 to 10 miles per hour. Up in southwest Washington, the winds gusting into East Multnomah and East Clark County as high as 40 miles per hour at times. Otherwise, you get away from that and you have light conditions. Longview 48, Battleground 50. I just checked. Crown Point reached about 2 hours ago 75 mile per hour peak wind gusts at the Vista House in the Gorge. You get that when you have a temperature inversion, and we've had it again. So folks getting blown around up at the Vista House. All right, here we go. Rain returns Thursday, and boy, I tell you what, we go into this weekend and into the first part of next week. We could be as wet as we were the first week of November, which was pretty wet. Back to you.